Okay, so if you're part of a global company, you know that compliance training can be, well, a tangled, complex mess. The big question is, how do you take all that chaos and turn it into a simple, digital strategy that actually works? Let's break it down.
I mean, if you're an HR or compliance leader, this probably sounds all too familiar, right? It's this constant feeling. You're juggling policies across continents, trying to translate them into different languages, coordinating across a dozen time zones, and just when you think you've finally caught up, boom, a new regulation drops. It's like you're always one step behind.
It really is the perfect analogy, isn't it? Herding cats. You're trying to get thousands of employees, scattered all over the globe, to complete the right training at the right time. And in this chaotic reality, the stakes for getting it wrong, they're just incredibly high.
And this isn't just one single challenge we're talking about. It's more like a giant global puzzle, with all the pieces scattered around the world.
Just think about it. You've got this patchwork of regulations that changes from country to country. You've got content that needs to be in a dozen different languages, you're coordinating across all these time zones, and on top of all that, you're trying to balance your global standards with the local culture while navigating this incredibly complex web of data privacy laws. GDPR, CCPA, you name it. Each one of these challenges just locks into the next, and pretty soon it's just one massive headache.
So solving this puzzle, it isn't some nice to have. No, it's absolutely mission critical. Why? Because the cost of failure is just enormous. Okay. Let's talk numbers, because this is the stark financial reality. The average cost to just meet compliance requirements is around $5.5 million. But the cost of non-compliance? Whoa, we're talking nearly 3 times higher, almost $15 million. And that's a direct hit to your bottom line from fines, fees, and all the cleanup work.
And look, these aren't just abstract numbers on a slide. $200 million. That's the fine JP Morgan Chase had to pay. For what? For simple record-keeping failures. Now that is a number that gets everyone's attention.
And JP Morgan is hardly alone here. Marriott got hit with a $124 million GDPR fine. And Equifax? A staggering $575 million penalty. I mean, these are household names, right? It just goes to show when it comes to compliance, no company is too big to fail.
So, with stakes this high, you have to ask, how can any organization possibly keep up? Well, the only way is to find a clear path out of the chaos, and that path is digital. And listen, this isn't some fringe idea anymore. The shift is well underway. A whopping 93% of companies are now offering compliance training online, at least in part. And it's pretty obvious why, right? Digital tools give you a level of consistency and scale that those old-school methods just can't touch.
Because let's be clear, going digital is not just about convenience. It's about something much bigger. It's about transforming compliance from that boring, dreaded checkbox exercise into a genuine strategic advantage for your business.
Okay, so what does a smarter strategy actually look like in practice? Well, it's really built on 4 key pillars. These are what define a truly effective digital approach.
Yeah, it really boils down to 4 powerful ideas. First up, centralize, then localize. You create one core message, but you adapt it for local teams. Second, target the training. Make it super relevant to each person's role. Third, automate your tracking. Seriously, it's time to ditch the spreadsheets. And finally, number 4, make the learning engaging so that the knowledge actually sticks.
All right, so let's dive into that first pillar. It might sound like a bit of a contradiction, right? One core message, many local voices. But what it really means is establishing a single source of truth, that's for consistency, and then skillfully adapting that core message for each region's specific needs and culture.
Here's a perfect example of how that works. Let's say you have a core anti-bribery module. Well, the US team gets a specific lesson on the FCPA. The UK team gets one on the UK Bribery Act. And the team in Brazil, they get scenarios that are adapted for their local context. See? It's the same core message, just delivered with different local flavors. Okay, pillar number 2. This one is all about fighting what we call compliance fatigue. You know that feeling, right? Instead of some one-size-fits-all approach that just overwhelms everybody, you deliver targeted training. So your finance team gets a deep dive on anti-money laundering. Your IT team focuses on cybersecurity. It's not about giving everyone everything, it's just smarter.
Now for pillar 3, automation. And this is the game changer. This is where you finally get to leave those painful spreadsheets behind for good. All that manual tracking becomes a streamlined, data-driven process, and it gives you this clear oversight without any of the chaos.
And the benefits here are just huge. You get real-time dashboards, so you can see exactly who's done what at a glance. You can spot compliance gaps before they blow up into real problems. And when an auditor comes knocking, no panic. Audit-ready reports are just a few clicks away. The system even handles the annoying stuff, like automating reminders and renewals, so you don't have to.
And that brings us to our final pillar, which is all about making the learning actually stick. We are moving away from the old way, and we all know it, death by PowerPoint, endless walls of legal text, and we're moving to a new way with things like interactive video, gamified quizzes, and scenarios that are actually relevant to people's jobs. This is about real engagement, not just blasting people with information.
So you might be wondering, does this approach actually work? The answer is a resounding yes. One global company completely revamped their training with engaging, localized content, and guess what? They saw a 240% increase in engagement. I mean, that's all the proof you need. If you make training better, people will actually want to do it.
So what's the ultimate payoff here? What happens when you bring all these pillars together? Well, I can tell you the result goes way beyond just checking a box on a form.
You know, it really is this simple. Having effective compliance training is not a nice-to-have anymore. In today's world, it is absolutely mission-critical. We're talking about the fundamental health and safety of your entire organization.
Because the real goal here, the big prize, is to build a genuine culture of compliance. You want to create an environment where people don't just follow the rules, they understand the why behind them, where they feel empowered to do the right thing. And when you achieve that, you're not just compliant, you're giving your leaders peace of mind and creating a powerful, real competitive advantage.
So, I'll just leave you with this one question to think about for your own organization. Is your training just a checkbox, or is it a real cultural advantage? Because that difference, well, that difference is everything.